Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Pickens, Sally Pickens, 9th grade counselor at Auburn Junior High School. For the next few minutes, I'm going to talk with you about the PSAT results. 100 of you elected to take the PSAT here at our school on October 16th. Elected is the operative word. It was not a required test. It is a junior or 11th grade level test, and taking the test in 8th or 9th grade is for practice purposes. Want to make sure you know what PSAT stands for. PSAT stands for Preliminary Scholastic Aptitude Test. So basically, it is a practice test for the Scholastic Aptitude Test, or as you probably know it, the SAT. The PSAT, again, is a practice for the SAT. Down here, if you can see this sentence, the SAT or the SAT must be taken to be considered for college admission. So all of you who are college bound, which is all of you most likely that are listening to this right now, must take either the SAT or the ACT to get into college. The PSAT is a practice for the SAT, but even if you decide to take the ACT instead of the SAT when you are ready to start doing the college admission process, it's still very good practice to take the PSAT. There are some other letters that are there with PSAT, the letters NMSQT, and those letters stand for National Merit Scholar Qualifying Test. The PSAT serves as the test which determines whether or not you become a National Merit Scholar. And to become a National Merit Scholar, you simply must score a certain number on the PSAT. You will be notified of that at the time you take this. In 11th grade, you will be notified as to whether you are a National Merit Scholar finalist. But just want to make sure you understand what all of the letters stand for. All right, your score report, I'd like you to look at it with me if you will. We're going to get to the inside, which looks like this, and this is just a non-student. It's just an example of a score report. First of all, I'd like you to look at the Your Scores section, and this is basically just showing you what you made in the 3 different areas of the test. There's a critical reading section, a mathematics section, and a writing skills section. And the big number in the bubble below each one of these sections tells you what your raw score was. That raw score is based on 20 to 80. 80 is the most you could score in each section. 20 would be the lowest you could score. So obviously your score is going to be somewhere between 20 and 80. All right, now it also shows you where you scored in relationship to juniors. And the reason it compares you to juniors is because, like I said earlier, this is a junior level test. So what I want you to keep in mind is you don't need to be discouraged if your scores were not as high as you think they ought to be, or if they're just not very close to the 80 mark. And you don't need to be discouraged if you did not score higher than a large percentage of juniors, because remember, you are 2 or even 3 years away from the year that this test counts, and you're 2 or 3 years away from the level that this test is composed for. So there is lots of information on the PSAT that you haven't even been exposed to yet in your courses. So once again, do not be discouraged if your score is not where it needs to be at this point. You've got time to certainly bring that score up. Now moving on down, here's the National Merit Scholarship part that I was talking to you about. And I told you that you'll be notified your junior year if your score qualifies you to be a National Merit Scholarship finalist. And that is determined by your score, like I said, and your selection index is a combination of your 3 scores in these 3 areas up here, the critical reading, the math, and the writing. So once again, you add all 3 of those numbers together, and that is your selection index. Now, what's a good selection index? Well, it varies from state to state by just a few points, but for the state of Alabama, typically a good or a qualifying selection index is anywhere between about 208 and 212 or so. And anything certainly like it might vary from year to year. It might be 208 one year, 210 the next year, but it's usually between 208 and 212, and so anything that number or higher would qualify you to be a National Merit finalist. And you can look at your selection index on your score report. And once again, reminding you it's just the sum of these 3 areas up here. That's your index. And then it also compares that with the percentile. It compares your performance with college-bound juniors. So it tells you what percentile you fall into. And what that would mean is, look at this student, for instance. This student's selection index was 146, which is 50 plus 52 plus 44. And that means that they scored higher than 47% of the juniors who were college bound who took this test. All right. Now over here on the eligibility information, you're not going to have any information there because you are not a junior, and you won't receive any information until you take in that area until you take this your junior year, because as I said, that is the qualifying year. Once again, it's for practice in 8th or 9th grade. Moving on down to your skills. The skill categories, and you can see all of them. They're all broken down here for you. They help you understand your score, and then they can help you see where you need to work, help you see where you need to study to get ready for taking the SAT. And for you, really, it helps you see where you need to study before you take the PSAT again. If you want to know more about your skills, there is a website you can go to, and I encourage you to go there. It's right here, www.collegeboard.org, and then /Quick Start, and you can sign in using your access code, which all of you have printed on your score report. And you just enter that access code, and that's going to give you lots of information. It's going to really help personalize your test for you, personalize your results, and just really go into depth on your skills. Moving on down, the next section is your answers, and this breaks down all the test questions and the correct answer. It shows you that. It shows you your answer. It shows you the difficulty level of the question. And here's the deal over here. Well, on your score report, it says you can ask your counselor for a copy of your test book, but you know what? I should have already given that to you. When you picked up your results, you should have gotten your test book back so you can go back and see what those questions were that you got correct and then those that you missed. This is just a really good way to practice for future PSATs or for the SAT. And once again, even if you're going to take the ACT, these questions that you will have access to on this test would be really good practice for that too. Moving on down, and I know I'm going pretty quickly, but I just want to give you an overview here of your results. Finally, what are you going to do with this information? What are you going to do with the information about your scores and the selection index, or what are you going to do when it tells you how well you did in these different skill areas and which questions you got correct, etc.? Well, you can go to the next steps section of the web or your results, and this will really help you see your full results and learn more about them. It helps you really plan for college. It helps you plan beyond as far as careers go. Once again, all you'll do is put your access code in, and you've just got a lot of information right there at your fingertips. Something else I want to tell you about your scores can help you as high school students see what what AP classes you might want to think about taking. AP classes are advanced placement classes, and you'll have the opportunity to take at least one of those in 10th grade, and your PSAT score can help you see what your potential for being successful in those AP classes will be. So really, I encourage you to go to that next step section and really look at it and get a lot of questions answered for you and just get lots of good information. All right, I think that's basically what I needed to cover. I want to tell you, students, that you can stop by my office, 7118, at any time if you have questions for me or want to just, talk to me about plans, or if you need more clarification about the PSAT or the ACT or the SAT. Parents, you can certainly email me, and students, you can email me as well. My email address is S as in Sam, G as in go, Pickens, Pickens, at auburnschools.org, and I'd be more than glad to talk with you and answer any questions you may have. Congratulations for taking the PSAT. Obviously, you did not have to do it, and I'm proud of you for taking that challenge, and I just hope that you will take a look at how you did and use the results to help you move forward and make plans for you all for the rest of high school and college and even beyond college. Hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to this explanation.